All right, what's going on, everybody? We are here. We are live. I saw that I made a little bit of a mistake. I was supposed to go live in 5 minutes, but I put going live in 2 hours. So I said, let me just go ahead and start the live stream right now. And then I want to allow some people to come into the live stream. So what I want to do right now is take a moment to play a news clip for you from my new channel, TD News Network. Some of you may be aware of it. Some of you may not be. But what I'm going to do is that I'm going to play a clip from that news channel in order to allow some more people into the live stream. And I'm also going to leave the link pinned into the live comment section below so that you can subscribe to that channel if you have not subscribed already. So let's get into this first news clip from TD News Network. And this is one of my personal favorites. We need more news like this, and hopefully you'll have an appreciation for this and you will go subscribe to that channel. And I'll leave the link for you right now once I play this video. In Marion, Indiana, two young men, Trey Jones and Marcus Harvey, are being called heroes after rescuing 56-year-old Gary Tarleton from his burning home. While passing through, the two noticed that the house was on fire while onlookers were standing in front of the property recording.
They basically come and tell us that there's a guy inside the house, you know what I'm saying? Like, we didn't really know where he was at, we just heard him screaming and everything.
I'm like, then I start hearing him. I'm like, so why y'all just, like, y'all hear him? Like, why y'all just standing there?
It was at this moment that the two young men sprang into action.
So I kicked the door in. But when I kicked the door in, fire, smoke, all that came through. So I seen like a little tunnel area I can duck down and get underneath the smoke. Picked him up, scooted him out the house. When I got to the door, Marcus assisted me. He grabbed him on the other side, grabbed him by his pants. We dragged him out here, and that's when the firefighters came and stuff.
As, you know, we're coming out the house, we can't see anything, but the only thing I can sit there and tell you, like, if you believe in God, mysterious things are happening. Like, he was right there the whole entire time showing us the way out.
Guy Tarleton fell asleep while cooking dinner, and according to his nephew, Tarleton's rental had no smoke alarms. The nephew would further go on to tell reporters that 30% of his uncle's upper body was burned. Tarleton is currently in critical condition, but he is alive.
I didn't know it was that bad. And when I was in there, I wasn't even thinking about how bad it was. I just knew I had to get him out. It made me feel good. Like, I know I saved somebody's life for real, like I saved somebody's life.
Like I said, man, we need more news like that. We always say that that's what we want and that's what we need. You know, news clips of brothers doing great things. Oftentimes, whenever there's news being spoken about us, it's always from the light of something negative. But what we need is more news that's positive. So that's what I'm bringing to you with this new channel, TD News Network. So what I want to do right now, just to allow a few more people into the live stream, is that I want to play one more clip from my news network, which is called TD News Network. And this is a great story right here, but sad at the same time. On August 21st, 26-year veteran Detroit firefighter Sergeant Savard Johnson lost his life while saving the lives of 3 young girls. On that day, Sergeant Johnson was visiting Belle Isle with his 10-year-old daughter Hayden when he noticed 3 young girls drowning and screaming for help. Without hesitation, Sergeant Johnson gave his phone and his keys to his daughter as he and a civilian dove into the river to save the girls. As a result of his heroic efforts, the 3 young girls survived as they were safely brought to shore. But unfortunately, Sergeant Johnson would be dragged underwater by a rip current, to which he himself would drown. His body was found the next afternoon near the Detroit Yacht Club. In his 26 years of service, Sergeant Johnson was well respected among his peers as well as among the community he served. He also comes from a rich family history of firefighters, which he detailed in a local radio show back in 2018, to which he stated, "My brother was a firefighter for 11 years, and we were both second generation because our father served for 20. That is actually a very proud thing for me to say. I've met a lot of great men and women on my job, and through some of the things we've been through and shared, we've grown close like a family." A GoFundMe campaign was created to support Sergeant Johnson's family. If you'd wish to send his family a donation, the link will be pinned in the comment section below. Now, I'm going to say it again for the last time. We say we want news like this. That's what we say. So if you're for real about that and you really care about having this kind of news being shared and spread throughout the community, throughout the nation, throughout the world, please make sure you subscribe to TD News Network. And with all that being said, let's get straight into the show. And what I wanted to talk about today is the degree to which Kamala Harris is such a master manipulator and just a flat out liar. And I want to start off very quickly with playing a clip from her debate between her and Vice President Pence. And I want you to pay very close attention to what she stated or what she didn't state when Vice President Pence called her out on the way in which her justice system, or when she ruled California, we'll say, when she was Attorney General and prosecutor of the county of Alameda, if I'm not mistaken. When she was a prosecutor, Black Americans were disproportionately arrested and jailed under her rule. So he called her out on that. And what you're going to see if you listen closely is that she doesn't refute anything that he says in regards to the fact that Black Americans were disproportionately prosecuted and arrested and jailed. But what she does do is talk in circles. So let's get into that right now.
But you talk about having personally prosecuted. I'm glad you brought up your record, Senator.
Thank you.
But I really need to make this point. When you were DA in San Francisco, when you left office, African Americans were 19 times more likely to be prosecuted for minor drug offenses than whites and Hispanics. When you were Attorney General of California, you increased the disproportionate incarceration of blacks in California. You did nothing on criminal justice reform in California. You didn't lift a finger to pass the First Step Back on Capitol Hill. I mean, the reality is your record speaks for itself. President Trump and I have fought for criminal justice reform.
Thank you, Vice President.
We fought for educational choice and opportunities for African Americans, all of our members.
Thank you, sir.
And we'll do it for 4 more
Thank
years.
you. You know, there is no more important issue than the final issue that we're going to talk about tonight, and that is the issue of the election itself.
He attacked my record. I would like an opportunity to respond.
Let me give you 30 seconds because we're running out of time.
I appreciate that. First of all, having served as the Attorney General of the state of California, the work that I did is a model of what our nation needs to do, and we will be able to do under a Joe Biden presidency. Our agenda includes what this administration has failed to do. It will be about not only instituting a ban on chokeholds and carotid holes.
Thank you.
Not only.
Thank you, Senator.
I would like to go through.
These are points that you made earlier in the hour, and I want to talk about the election itself before we have to.
But I want to talk about the connection between what Joe and I will do and my record, which includes I was the first statewide officer to institute a requirement that my agents would wear body cameras and keep them on full time. We were the first to initiate a requirement that there would be a training for law enforcement on implicit bias because, yes, Joe Biden and I recognize that implicit bias does exist, Mr. Vice President, contrary to what you may believe. We did the work of instituting reforms that were about investing in reentry. This is the work that we have done and the work we will do going forward. And again, I will not be lectured by the Vice President on our record of what we have done in terms of law enforcement and keeping our communities safe and a commitment to reforming the criminal justice system of America.
Now, when you look at what Vice President Pence said, clearly she did not refute any of it. She had the opportunity to say, you're wrong about that. I did not disproportionately lock up black men and women while I was Attorney General and prosecutor. She skirted straight around it. But what I find even more troubling and more scary is what she stated right here in the middle of skirting around what Vice President Pence had to say.
Having served as the Attorney General of the state of California, the work that I did is a model of what our nation needs to do, and we will be able to do under a Joe Biden presidency.
So, sorry about that. What she said is the work that she did as Attorney General and as a prosecutor is the model for what she wants to do when Joe Biden becomes president and she becomes vice president. That's the model. That's what she wants to do moving forward. So what that means for us moving forward is that for as much as they sit here and want to talk about criminal justice reform, what you could expect to see is more disparities in the criminal justice system as it pertains to comparing blacks to everybody else. That's what we can expect to see moving forward. Now, I want to continue to point out and highlight the ways in which Kamala Harris consistently lies as it pertains to her criminal justice record. We all know this already, or most of us do. We're aware of it, but a lot of us don't know it in detail. So what I want to do right now for you very quickly is that I want to pull up this article for you. Now, this article is from the Washington Post, and it's titled, "Why Did Kamala Harris Withhold Support for Special Investigations of Police Shootings?" Now, let's get into that. This article starts off with the excerpts from a CNN town hall that she did back in January of last year when she was actually running for president. And Jack Taper, who was the moderator, asked her, "When you were attorney general, you opposed legislation that would have required your office to investigate fatal shootings involving police officers. Why did you oppose that bill?" Kamala Harris responded, "So, I did not oppose the bill. I had a process when I was attorney general of not weighing in on bills and initiatives because as attorney general, I had a responsibility for writing the title and summary. So I did not weigh in." So what she's trying to tell you here is that I didn't oppose it. I wasn't against it. I just didn't say anything. That's the same thing as opposing it. People tell us all the time, they tell me all the time in the comment section, and they reply to you the same way in the comment section of my videos. When we talk about withholding the vote, some of us say voting down ballot Democrats, some of us say don't show up at all. Nonetheless, withholding the vote from the Democratic Party because they consistently they consistently stab us in the back, to say the least. All right. They consistently stab us in the back. And oftentimes when we discuss this, what people tell us is that not voting at all or voting down ballot is the same thing as voting for Trump. And for the most part, it is. But so what? At this point, so what? I only bring that up to highlight the fact that for you to not weigh in and say nothing is no different than opposing the bill. Now, let's get into where she lied at, because she lied about that statement. And I'm going to pull that up for you right now. Now, as we continue to read, in response, Harris told Taper that she never took a position on any bill or ballot initiative because of her duties as attorney general. But that is not accurate. She took positions on a range of pending bills and at least one proposed ballot initiative, according to her archived news releases. We found more than a dozen examples. Once again, Kamala Harris is a liar. She's lying. And the article continues to further on say, Harris's staff told the fact checker that she misheard Taper's question and misspoke in response. Now, what I'm going to do for you right now is I'm going to play the video of her mishearing the question and therefore giving a misresponse. And you tell me whether or not she misheard the question or did she just lie through the skin of her teeth. So I'm going to play that for you right now, and I'll let you be the judge of that.
And Riley's question is, I'm sure you've been hearing this too. This is a criticism we're hearing of you from the left as you entered the fray. And they talk about things that you did as Attorney General or as prosecutor or as a district attorney in San Francisco. Let me just ask about one of them, which is when you were Attorney General, you opposed a legislation that would have required your office to investigate fatal shootings involving police officers. Why did you oppose that bill?
So I did not oppose the bill. I had a process when I was Attorney General of not weighing in on bills and initiatives because as Attorney General, I had a responsibility for writing the title and summary. So I did not weigh in. But behind the scenes, I'm going to tell you, I compare my record to any prosecutor, any elected prosecutor in this country in terms of the work that I have done to reform the criminal justice system.
Does it sound like she misheard the question? Does it sound like that, or does it sound like she lied? It sounds more like she lied knowingly, which is something that she does consistently. Because like I said, This woman is a master manipulator. She is dishonest and she's a liar. And I want to go back to the original reason for why I'm even making this video from her response to Mike Pence, when she simply stated this. I'm not going to play the whole thing, but I just want to bring this back up again.
Having served as the Attorney General of the state of California, the work that I did is a model of what our nation needs to do, and we will be able to do under a Joe Biden presidency.
The work that she did is a model of what the nation needs to do, which is disproportionately prosecuting, arresting, and locking up Black Americans. And to be even more particular, if we're being honest and serious, Black men. Okay, now let's carry on down this rabbit hole. But also, very quickly before I do so, because I always forget to mention this kind of stuff because I always feel weird about it. For those of you who have been subscribed to this channel for quite some time now, show some love on Patreon. It's only $5 a month. And for $5 a month, what that helps me do is put me in position to take TD Hip Hop Media off of YouTube. Remember, the goal is always to grow independent of YouTube. That is the goal, not to grow big on YouTube. So the link is pinned in the comment section and in the live comment section. And I will also drop the link in the live chat as well to the Cash App for those who wish to show support. So now with that being said, let's carry on with the show. So what I want to get into right now, because this woman never stops lying, I want to talk about when I have an article here from Think Progress. Let me pull that up for you right now. And whoops, let me pull that up for you right now. Share the screen. All righty. So the article should be in front of you right now. Let me make sure to make it bigger so you don't have to see me reading. Now let's get into it. This article is from Think Progress, and this article is in concern to her refusing to participate in a program that would allow nonviolent prisoners to be able to get out of jail or to get out of prison early under a program that allows early paroling. So I want to start off in the middle of this article before we get into what she actually did and her being a liar. So let's get ready. Let's read right now. In a new chapter in California's years-long battle over how and when to reduce the population of its unconstitutionally crowded prisons, lawyers in Harris's division pushed back against a federal order to expand an early parole program. I'm going to read that for you again. Lawyers in Harris's division pushed back against a federal order to expand an early parole program, arguing that it would deplete their stock of prison labor, especially inmates who fight wildfires. Now let's get into the liar, Kamala Harris. As we scroll up to the top of the article, California Attorney General Kamala Harris told Think Progress Wednesday she is concerned her department created a perception that the state's prisons have a goal of indentured servitude. Harris was responding to the revelations that the lawyers in her office argued in court without her knowledge that a program to parole more prisoners would drain the state's resources on cheap labor. How are you going to be an attorney general of a state and you have your lawyers arguing against legislation and programs that would help free people early, but you didn't know? How do you not know that? You see, there's a difference between being a worker at a retail store, right? And somebody asking you, is there more toilet paper? And you say, no, there's no more toilet paper. And then when you get back to the stock room, you find out, oh, well, there was toilet paper. Whoops, I didn't know. There's a difference between that and then you having an attorney general who has lawyers in a courtroom fighting against a program that could release people early, doing that without her knowledge. They didn't do it without her knowledge. She's a liar. She might not have known that they were doing that. I could give you that. But the thing is, like all of us who have had jobs, you know your boss and you know what your boss wants. So even if she didn't know they were doing that, technically they know what who their boss is and what she's all about. So there's nothing here that was actually being done without her knowledge. This woman is just a constant liar and a manipulator, as I've stated over and over and over again. Now, I want to get into one last article for you right now. And let me get rid of this screen. And let me pull myself back up again. The camera keeps resetting. My apologies. But the last thing that I want to get into right now, and many of you know about this already as well. Where's the article? Here it goes. This is from the New York Times. Now let me share this on the screen with you as well so that you can see it. Hit the Chrome tab. And my apologies for those of you who are commenting and I'm not reading the comments right now. I just don't want to get sidetracked because I get sidetracked very easy, to say the very least. So let me pull this article up for you. All righty. This article should be up for you right now. It's from the New York Times, titled, "We May Be Able to Get Kevin Cooper Off of Death Row." Now, let's get into this article. Let's start reading, right? Let me go ahead and drop down. This was a horrific crime. The 1983 Manson-style stabbing murders of Doug and Peggy Ryan, both 41, their 10-year-old daughter, Jessica, and an 11-year-old neighbor, Chris Hughes. The Ryans' other child, Josh, had his throat slashed and was left for dead. Now, here's the important part. Josh, who was 8 at the time, initially identified several white people as the killers. Multiple witnesses saw 3 white people after the attack in what was apparently the Ryan stolen car. A woman reported to the police that her boyfriend, a white convicted murderer recently released from prison, appeared to have taken part in the crime. She gave sheriff's deputies the bloody coveralls he had worn that night. The deputies threw them away. Let's scroll down some more. Instead, deputies arrested Kevin Cooper, a 25-year-old black man, when they couldn't find his fingerprints. Instead, deputies arrested Kevin Cooper, a 25-year-old black man, and when they couldn't find his fingerprints or hairs linking him to the crime scene, they began to plant evidence, or so concluded 5 federal appeals judges. Cooper was sentenced to death after a trial tainted by open racism. So Cooper has now spent more than 80% of his adult life behind bars for a brutal murder, even though federal judges, law school deans, FBI veterans, and a former president of the American Bar Association say he may well be innocent. Let's scroll down some more and we're going to finish this off. Yet California officials, including Brown and many others, refused to allow advanced DNA testing, even though Cooper's lawyers would pay for it. I've written about Cooper's case repeatedly for 8 years, and finally in May, I wrote what may be the longest column in New York Times history, a piece of visual journalism laying out the evidence that the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Office framed Cooper, and the Democratic and Republican politicians alike later blocked the DNA testing that could prove his innocence. That seemed to break a dam. Pope Francis sent a letter through his representatives to the governor. The Los Angeles Times and the San Francisco Chronicle published editorials calling on Brown to allow DNA testing. Senator Dianne Feinstein backed testing, as did Senator Kamala Harris, who told me, now this is Kamala Harris who told the author of this article this, who told me she regretted that she had not allowed it when she was California's Attorney General. I'm going to repeat that again. Senator Dianne Feinstein backed testing, as did Senator Kamala Harris, who told me she regretted that she had not allowed it when she was California's Attorney general. This woman is consistent with her lies. She lies, and lies some more. When you were attorney general, you had the opportunity to speak on this and to make sure that this man got the DNA testing that he needed to vindicate him. But you opposed that. But let me pull this up for you now. When she knew she would be getting to the point to where she's going to run for president in 2018, and now she's no longer the attorney general, so she doesn't have the same power that she did before. Now, as just a state senator, all you can do is say, oh yeah, I support DNA testing. It doesn't mean anything because you don't run anything anymore. You're not in control anymore. You're not in power anymore. But you see what she's trying to do right now is clean up her image, because this is May of 2018. About 6-7 months later, she started running for president. So she's cleaning everything up and trying to cover up her tracks before she runs for office. She's fake. She's a fraud. She's a phony. She's a liar and a manipulator. And to have Biden and Kamala Harris in office would be one of the most damning presidencies to Black America that we will ever have seen. Let me pull this away. It's only Black Americans that are asked to be the sacrificial lambs when it comes to voting for the Democratic Party. It never matters what has happened to us, what they've done, the kind of legislation that they've passed against our communities that have been damning. You're just expected to just forgive all of that and reward these individuals by putting them in office. Not this time. At least not me. I won't be rewarding any of these people, including Trump. I'm not voting for him. But I could care less if he's there another 4 years or another 8 years, because it doesn't matter if any of these individuals are coming into office and they're not providing you with reparations or a Black agenda. It's all irrelevant. But the Democratic Party for sure have consistently made it a point to bury you with a smile on their faces. They have done this consistently. The only thing that I respect about the Republican Party is that at least they tell you who they are up front. You know who they are and what they're about from the beginning. And either you can get with it or you cannot. And that's the end of that. I can respect it. But when it comes to the Democrats, they'll smile in your face. They'll pick up your children and kiss them. They'll come to church with you, pretending to praise God with you. They'll come to the cookout in your home and will stab you in the back and slit your throat the moment they get into office. They have done this consistently for 5 decades now. Excuse me, more than 5 decades now. They've been doing this for more than 5 decades now. And we have been giving them a supermajority for more than 5 decades now. For what? Here we are in 2020, still talking about Black Lives Matter, still talking about hands up, don't shoot, still talking about how you need reparations and that we want a Black agenda. Now, those terms like needing a Black agenda may not have been used, but this kind of discussion that we're having right now, they're not necessarily new. Brothers like Dr. Claude Anderson have been talking about this for decades. We're talking about like 20. The video that I made about voting Biden and Harris in office and how damning it'll be, primarily because of immigration, right? And how damning immigration actually is to Black Americans. Dr. Claude Anderson has been sounding the horn on that for over 20 years. You can go to YouTube right now and find 20-plus-year-old, 25-year-old videos of Dr. Claude Anderson saying how immigration is going to bury Black Americans. So the conversations that we're having are nothing new. But the problem is that we have these conversations and we continue to vote for the people that bury us. And that has to stop. It has to stop. And it has to stop now with this election. So, with all that being said, I want to thank you all for watching today's show. I have a new person, somebody new joined Patreon, Mr. Danielson. Thank you, Mr. Danielson, for hopping onto the Patreon. I appreciate that so much. The link to the Patreon is pinned in the live comment section below. I will drop the link to the Cash App in the live comment section also. That should be popping up for you shortly if you'd like to contribute to the channel. That's all I got to say for today's show. And like always, the way I close out every episode, if you're new to the channel, please make sure you subscribe. hit that bell notification. If you're not a part of the text group already, please make sure you text tdhiphop to number 33222. That is tdhiphop to number 33222. That way you'll get a direct text notification whenever I release a new video. That's not just for me being able to send you a text notification when I release a new video, but it also serves as a protection plan for myself. So in case YouTube ever gives my channel the axe, I'll be able to send you a direct link to where you can find me next. All my social media links will be in the description. And lastly, but certainly not least, as I've stated maybe 1 or 2 times already, for those of you who have been subscribed to this channel for quite some time now, you have a love and appreciation for the work that I put in on this channel. This camera is killing me. Oh, this camera is driving me crazy. But anyways, man, for those of you who have a love and appreciation for the work that I put in on this channel, man, the number one way you can show your support towards me and that appreciation is by joining Patreon for only $5 a month. That will help put me in position to be able to take TD Hip Hop Media off of YouTube. Remember, the goal is to grow independent of YouTube, not big on YouTube. So with all that being said, you know what? I was advised not to do this, right? Before I tune out. It's already been 31 minutes, too. That's crazy. I was advised not to do this, but I'm going to do this anyways. And I didn't have this video loaded up, but I'm going to try and load this video up now. Because now that the message is over, you know, I had a little special video that I wanted to play for you guys, for those of you who contributed during the show, right? I had a special video that I wanted to play for you guys. And let me see if I can find it. Oh my God, where is this video at? Now I'm just wasting time. I don't want to waste you guys' time, okay? I'm just going to play this one video really quickly. I'm going to load it up, and then I'm going to let you guys go. I was advised not to do this. I was advised to keep things serious, but I'm going to play it anyways. I'm really mad that I can't find the other video, that I don't know where I put it. Wow, I'm an idiot. Okay, so I'm going to play this video for you right now. For those of you who contributed, here it goes. Because it's okay to have a laugh, man. It's okay to have a laugh.
Before I continue with my message, thank you, Sister Avanti, $10 coming on the Cash App. Thank you, sister. Next time, make it 20, but thank you for that 10. I know you barely had that. Thank you, sister. Before I continue.
Oh, man. Umar the GOAT. Umar the GOAT, man. That man is a GOAT. I really wish I could find the other video that I had. It was another Umar video. But I can't find it right now, man. I can't find it. I'll tell you which one it is, though. It is on my phone. It is on my laptop. It's the one where he goes, donations, 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 gifts, more gifts. I'm mad at myself for not having that video queued up, man. But anyways, man, let me stop wasting you guys' time now. I'm your boy, Tony Delerme. Thanks for watching this episode. Make sure you hit the thumbs up button on your way out. And until the next video,